UCL playoff draw took place earlier today. It was conducted by Walmart Claudio Ranieri and his crew like it always is. And we now have the matchups for this very first round of 32. I think it's what they're calling it in the UCL. So in today's video, I'm going to be reacting to the draw, giving you guys my predictions, who I believe is going to go through to the round of 16. And of course, being a Barca fan, talking about the Barca angle in all of this, because even though Barca are luckily not taking place in the playoff round, we know who we could possibly play in the round of 16. So I want to talk about that briefly at the end here. But yeah, bro, this is the best time of the year. By the way, hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I forgot to say that, but hey, welcome back. Anyway, this is the best time of the year. When the UCL bracket starts taking shape, there's nothing quite like it. I'm not going to lie. There's one great matchup here, obviously Madrid versus City. The other ones, kind of doo-doo. I'm not going to lie, but we're going to predict all of them, but we're going to spend most of our time talking about Madrid versus City because, like I said, that is the best game here. But we're going to start off at the top. Brest versus PSG. These two teams, of course, know each other very well because they both play in the same league, Ligue 1, and they actually already played once this year. They played in September. PSG won that game 3-1, and they're actually playing tomorrow. So I actually might watch that game just to get a glimpse of how it's going to shape out when they actually play in the UCL. But yeah, that's pretty funny. They're playing tomorrow as well. Brest started off the UCL very well. They were actually one of the first, like they were a top 3 team for a minute there, and then they kind of tailed off towards the end. PSG was the opposite. They started off terribly, and then they picked it up towards the end, and they actually finished the league phase with really, really good form, beating the likes of Man City in that comeback. They destroyed, I think, Stuttgart in the final game. They played some good football. I believe, look, I want Brest to win, and I think Brest could pull off the upset, but I believe PSG is going to win. I think PSG has a good team, bro. They have a lot of balance in that team. Obviously, Kvaratskhelia is coming over from Napoli. He's a good player, and he's gonna obviously slide into that attack. I don't know how it's gonna fit with Barcola and him, who's gonna get the start. I think Barcola is a fantastic player, but again, they both play the same position. But we'll see. Ousmane Dembele is playing. He's in the form of his life right now, bro. He just scored a hat-trick recently in the UCL. He's having a great season so far for PSG. Yeah, he's having some good moments. Gonçalo Ramos is a guy who can obviously score goals at any moment. He could score a hat-trick in the World Cup like we saw when he did it for Portugal against Switzerland. They have a really, really good balanced midfield. João Neves is fucking insane, bro. I'm not going to lie. João Neves is crazy. I've been watching him a lot recently, and the dude is a stud. Like, he's one of the best young midfielders in the world. Everybody talks about Wirtz and Pedri and Bellingham, and rightfully so. João Neves, he's in that conversation too. So, you know, also Nuno Mendes continues to shine. I mean, that guy's a beast too. Vitinha. That team is full of like these Portuguese studs. It's like the best players from Portugal all play for PSG. I love Lucho as a coach. Obviously a Barca legend, but I don't think Lucho's the best coach. But I obviously think he's better than the Brest coach, who I don't even know his name. But again, I think PSG are going to go through. They have too much firepower, and they've been on really, really good form as of lately. But I don't think I wouldn't be shocked if Brest pull off the upset because PSG in the UCL. There's no heritage there. There's nothing there. You know what I mean? And I also would like Brest to win because I like their name. And not just because I hate PSG, but because I like their name. That's what you guys come here for. You know, that's the analysis that I provide. I don't talk about tactics or any of that shit. I like their name, so I want them to win. So I think Brest have a chance here, but I think PSG will go through. Next, we have Club Brugge versus Atalanta. We're not going to spend too much time on this. Club Brugge, they're an awful team. I mean, yeah, they had some good results here and there. They beat Milan actually 1-0 in the league phase. They beat Sporting, but that was when Amarin was already gone, so that doesn't really count to me. And Atalanta, I mean, they were this close to qualifying in the top 8. They're a really, really good team with a great coach. Gasperini, in my opinion, is one of the best coaches in European football. They have a really, really good team. We saw them face off against Barca, and they gave Barca a challenge at Montjuic. And they just have a great team, in my opinion. Obviously, the defending Europa League champions and a team that at any moment could just go off. So I think Atalanta are going to win that game pretty comfortably, pretty comfortably. So I'm going to go with Atalanta there. We're going to skip Madrid and City because we're going to come back to it later. That's going to be the last one we talk about because, again, like I said, I'm going to spend the most time on that one. We're going to move on to Juventus versus PSV. PSV obviously won that last game against Liverpool, but Liverpool were playing their 13. They were playing their 13. They were playing Jadon Danz, I think that's his name, as a striker. Who I watched play in the EFL Cup. I think he's played like 50 minutes all season in every comp. So again, that's not the best Liverpool team, not even close to it. Juventus, it's like they just draw every game, bro. They draw. They were unbeaten for a long time, but they were drawing every game. They obviously lost recently to Napoli, and that kind of broke up that streak. But this Juventus team is just not that good. I'm not gonna lie. The coach is not that good. I could see PSG definitely winning this. I could honestly see PSG winning this tie because, again, like I said, I don't think Juventus is that great of a team. I don't see a lot of firepower in that team. I don't see a lot of X factor in that team. It looks like Vlahovic is going to leave at the end of the season, so he doesn't believe in that product either. I just don't believe in Juve. I'm actually picking PSV to win this because I think PSV have, you know, Bakayoko is a good player. I think he can maybe have a tie and make something happen, but I don't think Juve are going through. I don't see it. That team they don't inspire me at all, so I'm picking PSV. But again, it's not like I'm sitting here watching every Juve game this season. I've watched them a couple times, and I'm also not watching every PSV game, to be fair, but if I had to pick one of these, I'm going to pick PSV just for the fuck of it, so we're going to pick PSV. Next, we got Feyenoord versus AC Milan. Actually, a pretty good matchup here. Both teams are decent. AC Milan, they've been on good form this season. They actually haven't been that bad. And Christian Pulisic has quietly been one of the best players in Italy since he got there. So I think AC Milan might win this tie. They obviously beat Madrid in the league phase, destroyed them actually in the Bernabeu, but then they lost the last game to Dynamo Zagreb. Like, make that make sense. You beat Madrid away from home, but you can't beat Dynamo Zagreb. Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. Feyenoord beat Bayern Munich, so they have that result, and I think they have a decent team, but I'm going to pick AC Milan to win this. Just because, European royalty, and why not? I'm going to pick AC Milan to go through. Next, we got Celtic versus Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich's going to beat Celtic. I mean, I don't believe in this Bayern Munich team whatsoever. I don't believe in Vincent Kompany as a coach. But Bayern Munich will beat Celtic comfortably, in my opinion. That tie's going to... I don't think Celtic will score a goal in that tie. I think it's going to end up being 4-0 through 2 legs for Bayern Munich, or 5-0 or 6-0 maybe. Because, Bayern Munich, against these bottom feeders in the UCL, they always come through. They're like, no one spanks a shitty team in the UCL quite like Bayern Munich. So they're gonna beat Celtic through 2 legs. I have no doubt about that. Next up, we have Sporting versus Dortmund. Dortmund just recently fired their coach, obviously Nuri Sahin, who had that disaster class at the Bernabeu. They're looking to fire... I don't even think they have a permanent coach right now. They have an interim coach. And in the Bundesliga, they've been shit. But in the UCL, man, they were this close to qualifying in the top 8. If they got that result against Barca at home, if Ferran Torres doesn't come off the bench and win that game for Barca, I think they're qualifying in the top 8. Had a decent game against Madrid, but then ended up choking it away in the last minute. Not in the last minute, but in the second half because of Nuri Sahin. So I'm going to pick Dortmund. And Sporting, since Ruben Amorim left, have been terrible. When he was there, they were playing well. But since he left, they've been shockingly bad. The way they fell on that table once Amorim left is crazy. So I'm going to pick Dortmund to win that tie. I think they're just a better team. I think they'll go through. And then lastly, we have a sneaky good tie. Honestly, a sneaky good tie. I think it's the second best tie out of all these games. And that's going to be AS Monaco versus Benfica. 2 good teams, honestly. 2 really, really good teams. 2 teams that Barca played already. And honestly gave us our toughest matchup, dare I say, of the UCL along with Atalanta. We obviously lost against Monaco. The only team that Barca lost against in the UCL was Monaco. And Benfica, I mean, we were this close to losing that game, and it took a miraculous comeback at the end. So this is going to be a good tie. This is going to be a really, really good tie. I think Monaco has a lot of talent. But I think Benfica, man, that team is, I mean, when I watch them play, they have this, I don't know, bro. They just don't stop running. They play for the coach. I don't know. I'm going to pick Benfica to win that tie. But again, I would not be surprised if Monaco win, but I think Benfica is going to win that tie. I think Benfica is going to win that tie. And if Benfica and PSG both win, that means Barca is going to play either Benfica or PSG, which I wouldn't be too happy about. Honestly, I think Barca will win, but I think they're both very tough matchups. But anyway, before we get to Barca, let's talk about Real Madrid and Man City, because that's the matchup. That's the one matchup that I missed, but that's the main course here. Okay, that's the entree. This is now 4 years in a row. Man City and Madrid are facing off against each other in the UCL. And in previous years, it was the matchup of the UCL. When they faced off in 22 and Madrid won the UCL in Paris, that was the matchup. That was like, oh my God, these are the 2 best teams in Europe going at it head to head. Then the next year when they faced off, Madrid wasn't really at their best at that time, but it was still a UCL semifinal. It was like a rematch of the previous year, and I was like, oh my God, this is going to be must-see TV. And then last year, again, it was like the 2 best teams in Europe. People were calling out the final that happened in the quarterfinal. And Madrid won that game and ended up winning the whole thing. So again, Madrid have won 2 in the past. In the past, they've played in the past 3 years. Madrid have won 2, City have won 1, and these are the past 3 champions. Madrid won last year and the year before, and 2 years ago, and then City obviously won the year before in Istanbul. So this is like a heavyweight matchup, but it doesn't feel like a heavyweight matchup. I mean, we have Mbappe and Haaland. But does anybody really care? I really don't know. I mean, it's like you would think that Mbappe and Haaland, arguably the 2 best players of this generation, the guys who are the next Messi, Ronaldo, there would be more hype around this matchup, but I don't feel the hype. Again, maybe it's because we're not close to the game yet. But my point is, both of these teams are not on great form right now. Madrid are better than City currently, in my opinion, because City have been so bad. But again, it's like Madrid have been lighting the world on fire this season. They've picked it up as of late. But, this month, like this past month, and like it was just in January, they lost to Barca 5-2, you know what I mean? So it hasn't been like, it's not like they've rattled off 3 months of perfect football. They've looked shaky at times. And Man City, we know, I think they won 13 games in the Prem, 13 games overall without a win. They were down 1-0 to Club Brugge in the final game of the league phase. I mean, they had that game against Ipswich, but then they lose. Then they're allowing comebacks in the UCL. It's so weird with Man City, bro. I really don't understand this team. They have a lot of injuries right now. So do Madrid. The second leg will be at the Bernabeu. I think it's obviously a huge benefit for Madrid. I think Madrid are just the better team right now. I think Man City are not a team that even deserved to go through to the league to the playoff round. They did not deserve to go through. That team had no business going through. They beat Club Brugge, I think, and some other shitty teams. Like they beat 3 teams in the league phase, bro. This Man City team is not good enough. And yeah, you think that when they beat Ipswich, they're going to turn it back, they're going to pick it up, and then they go on and allow a comeback against PSG in the UCL. So I don't see this Man City team making any noise this year in the competition. I think Madrid are going to go through. I think Mbappe is going to have a really, really good tie. I think that second leg at the Bernabeu, maybe they tie the first leg at the Etihad, but I think the second leg at the Bernabeu, it's going to be all Real Madrid. I think Mbappe, this is what he came to Madrid for. These are the games that he came to Madrid for. They're happening earlier than expected because usually you would expect these games in the quarterfinals or semifinals or even the final. But Mbappe went to Madrid for this reason. So this is the time that I believe he's going to show up in because it's Kylian Mbappe and he's, in my opinion, still one of the best players in the world. So I think Madrid are going to go through. I think they're going to face off against either Atletico Madrid or Leverkusen or, Atletico Madrid or Leverkusen in the round of 16. I think Madrid will go through. And yeah, bro, the fact that one of these two teams is not going to be in the round of 16 of the UCL, like one of them has to get knocked out. That is crazy to me, bro. I did not expect that, but they keep blessing us with this matchup, bro. I'm not going to lie, Madrid don't really get lucky in these draws. They usually get the hardest draws possible. I mean, if you go back to like 2017, the teams that have to go up against Atletico Madrid and Bayern Munich and all these different teams, and even last year, Man City and Bayern Munich, and, you know, it's tough for them. It's tough, and we don't talk, like we talk about 2022, Chelsea, PSG, obviously Liverpool in the final, and then you had Man City in the semifinal. So Real Madrid don't really have it easy most of the time in these draws, and this year is no different, but I believe they will beat Man City, and I believe they'll go through to the round of 16. And yeah, like I said, talking about Barca briefly here, they can either play PSG, like if my predictions hold true, they will either play PSG or Benfica. And honestly, whatever team they play out of the four, bro, whether it's Brest, PSG, Monaco, or Benfica, I have confidence in Barca to win any of those ties. I think Barca this year are a different team. Again, in the UCL, we have our demons, we have our... we're kind of cursing the competition, or we have been over the past 10 years, but I think Hansi Flick is a different coach, and I think Barca have an advantage over any of those teams. I think we obviously didn't, like, I would want to play either, I want to play PSG or Monaco because, you know, the easiest matchup to me would be Brest. I think Barca beat them 3-0 when we were going through kind of a rough patch. If you remember when we beat Brest at Montjuic 3-0, Lamine Yamal didn't play that game because he was hurt, and Barca were going through that slump of losing all these games in the league, and we still managed to beat Brest 3-0. So I think Brest would be the easiest matchup out of all of these. But I want to play either Monaco or PSG because I want revenge. I want revenge over Monaco because they beat us in that first game. And I think Barca, if Mats doesn't get sent off, if Eddie Garcia doesn't get sent off after that Mats mistake, I think Barca win that tie. I think that game, I think we beat Monaco. And PSG, first of all, I hate them as an institution. And second of all, they beat us last year. And they had no business beating us last year. They had no business. That was all because of Araujo and that red card. So I want revenge. I want to knock them out this year. But again, the easiest matchup would be Brest. The one that I'm most indifferent about is Benfica because we beat Benfica, and I don't have any strong opinions about Benfica. I really don't care. I don't have that many strong opinions about Monaco, to be fair. I don't really care for them as a club, or positively or negatively. Honestly, they don't affect me in any way. But again, they beat us this year, so I kind of want to get that. I want to get that lick back, if as the kids say, I would say. But yeah, as the kids say, you're not old, bro. Shut the fuck up. But anyway, yeah, that's my reaction. I think Barca, I think we could beat any of the four teams, but ideally I want to play Brest because it's the easiest one, but I'll take any of the four. Madrid versus City, I mean, once again, it's a matchup that was bound to happen. We all knew when we saw the possible matchups, we knew that Madrid and City was going to happen, and, you know, it happened once again. UEFA keep blessing us with this matchup, and look, I'm not complaining. It is must-see TV. It's going to be the best game of these playoffs by far. The other ones, like I said, are kind of doo-doo. And yeah, bro, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Again, a lot of these teams, the predictions that I made may not be that educated because while I do love football, I'm not sitting around and watching most of these teams week in and week out in their respective leagues, or even in the UCL, because most of the time when these teams play, there's a better game going on or Barca are playing, so I'm not really sitting down grinding film on fucking Celtic or Feyenoord, you know what I mean? So if you guys excuse my ignorance when it comes to some of these teams. But yeah, bro, I made my predictions. I stand by them. You guys let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. I love every single one of you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys on the next video. Peace out.